Good afternoon, Rabun County. It's Roger Glenn with Poss Realty, and I'm coming to you today from the Marie Milligan Center at Black Rock Mountain State Park. And I am here with a familiar face, Ahrens, who's the curator and the director of education at Foxfire Museum and Heritage Center. We did a video with Cami about 9 months or so ago. If you haven't seen that, please check it out. And then a local superhero legend, Jessica James, who's the park manager for Black Rock Mountain State Park. And we're here today to talk about Go Tell It on Black Rock Mountain. Wow, okay, that's the hard part of the whole thing. But, which is a storytelling festival, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But let me start, Jessica, if I can, with a real quick explanation of who Marie Milligan was and about the center here near the campground.
Yes. So Marie Milligan was a woman who was very active in the world of botany, and she was a naturalist who wrote several books, one called The Roadside Rambles, for anybody that likes to come up to Black Rock and look for flowers. She did a couple of books about that, as well as some VHS presentations as well. And this building is for rent. It's a rentable facility, so if anybody wants to rent it for a small wedding, just give us a call.
It's a beautiful facility. If you haven't been up here, you got to check it out. And then, Cami, you were telling me that there's a nexus to Marie at the Foxfire Center.
Yeah, so Marie, as Jessica mentioned, was a well-known botanist in this area, and she had a connection with Foxfire and actually dedicated some of her time to establish a wildflower trail near our chapel building at the museum. So in the spring, you can still walk along the Marie Milligan Nature Trail and see all kinds of native wildflowers, and it's just gorgeous along that trail. And she's also contributed to several Foxfire magazine articles as well as book publications.
There you go. So props to Miss Marie Milligan for letting us use the facility today. Jessica, you had a great idea one day. Tell us about it.
Well, I like to think I have many great ideas, but one idea that I had was doing a storytelling event along with Foxfire. It came organically by just sitting on the porch with some campers and staff, where we were sitting in rocking chairs just telling stories and having a good laugh, and I felt like it was something that a lot of people don't get to do these days. And so we reached out with Cami, and Cami, of course, their work that they do at Foxfire, you know, one of their goals, I think, is to always share the Appalachian history and culture, and I thought it would be a great event since they are our neighbors as well. So.
How about that? Well, so, you know, a storytelling festival, but it actually is a lot more than that. Cami, can you talk about some of the things that are going to be going on at Foxfire that weekend? And it might be important for us to mention when it is.
Yes, absolutely. So the actual festival is taking place on Saturday, August 13th. We're going to kick it off Friday night up here at Black Rock with Jessica and some of her staff to do a campfire and s'more storytelling event. We are also going to feature a local writer, a student writer who won the writing contest through the Rabun County Library, so that'll be a youth who'll be able to share that story. And then the next day we'll kick it off with some adult events for people down at the museum. And that's going to focus more on people, the way we share memories more organically rather than in a performative way. So we are tying in some of Foxfire's history, some of Appalachian's history, to be able to come together in small group workshops throughout the day. They'll be hosted in different sessions, so you can take a tour of the Foxfire Museum and learn the ways that Foxfire captures oral histories and how to do an oral history yourself. You can visit with David Rice, who is a demonstrator at the museum, and learn how to cook on a wood stove, while also talking about how we share memories through food and maybe those cooking experiences. And then we also are bringing in two poets from Western North Carolina to host a nature poetry workshop and learn how we can tell stories in a more creative way. And then that evening, you can come back up to Black Rock for a free event featuring a local musician and storyteller as well.
Yeah. And Jessica, you were telling us that some of the impetus of this idea was the fact that typically at the end of the day, some of the campers and rangers will sit out on the front porch of the visitor center here at the campgrounds and tell stories.
That's correct, yeah. So we just, again, it's more of an organic activity. It's not something we plan, it just sort of happens. And it's very welcoming for our guests, you know, when they come to the park and they see a ranger and folks just hanging out, enjoying the cooler temperatures up here. We're a good 10 degrees cooler up here than downtown Clayton. And so it's just, you know, a fun way for us to hang out and get to know each other and learn about our visitors and all that.
Yeah, cool. So shout out, coming back to what you said, Cammie, to Rabun County Public Library for doing the story writing contest, if you will.
Yes. And then the Rabun County Public Library will also be hosting a craft event on that Saturday as well, which I think I forgot to mention.
And we'll be doing gold panning here as well on this Saturday.
Gold?
Yes, from 9 to 5.
Yes.
So all day long, you can't gold pan all day long. We only have so much, but you can come and try it.
You only have so much gold?
Correct. Well, yes, correct.
Okay, you get to keep the gold?
You do get to keep the gold. It is real gold, but don't worry, we don't find it on the park. That's illegal, just so you know. We get it from Kristen's Gold Mine and Dahlonega.
I thought I was going to have to read your Miranda rights there for a second. We could have edited that out though. So some people would probably like to know if it's free or if it's cost or it's a little bit of a hybrid.
It's a little bit of both. So we wanted to offer different opportunities and different levels of accessibility so everybody can participate. So the events happening at Black Rock and the Rabun County Public Library, those are free events. They're mostly ongoing, as Jessica mentioned, 95 for gold panning, 10 to 12 for the craft at the library. The storytelling event is being sponsored by the Black Rock Buddies, so shout out to them. So that will be free. They are accepting donations. And then the small group pre-registration events at Foxfire, so that cooking workshop, the poetry workshop, we are charging a small fee for those, registration fee, just to cover the time of our generous supporters who are coming in to do those activities for us. And you can find that information on our website at www.foxfire.org/events. And click on the program you want to attend and go ahead and sign up and register and save your spot today because space is limited for those.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking ahead of time, sort of what prompted me to call and ask about doing this feature and just some of the cultural and social aspects of human interaction and historically how stories were told and legends were passed and history was shared. To some degree, it's a lost art, I guess, if you will, but very interactive amongst, you know, people, friends, family, and all of those things. And there's an aspect of that. So this is not just entertainment for the day. There's actually some skill development, if you will, right? Or some introduction of some concepts that people might not be familiar with. I don't get to cook much, but the notion of storytelling while you're cooking and things of that nature is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think everybody can share a story of something that they've eaten, that somebody prepared for them, or maybe a dish that they always have at a family. And there's always a story around that, whether we recognize that story or not. But that's an important part of building relationships. And it's essential to our communities to be able to understand one another through sharing these stories of our experiences.
Yeah, it becomes interactive, hopefully, which you can't get that. No offense to Mr. Internet, but I forget who invented that. I think it was Al Gore. That's a joke. Anyway, but thank you for laughing. But in any case, you really don't get that with the sort of, you know, broadcast unilateral direction of communications. And so this will be cool. Well, we're looking forward to being here. Cammie and Jessica, very much appreciate your time and all the hard work that you've put into not only this event, but the other things that are always going on at Foxfire or at the park. And very much appreciate your professionalism and your passion for all these things. So if you don't have plans for
August 13th,
then this is a do not miss between the library and Foxfire and Black Rock. It'll be a great time, great places to visit, great organizations to support financially or even volunteering your time and things of that nature. So thank you again, ladies. And if you'll join me now in the only tradition that we have in the Rabun County Spotlight, which is to wave and say, we'll see you next time, Rabun County.
We'll see you next time, Rabun County.
Bravo.